Our third speaker, Tara Mohammed, aka Sister Tara Mohammed. So Sister Tara Mohammed has been a registered member of the Nation of Islam since the late 1980s. She currently serves as the MGT and GCC student first lieutenant in the Brownsville section of Brooklyn, New York. Sister Tara serves as an instructor for various classes and subject matters for the upliftment of Black women. Sister Tara has been married for 20 plus years and is the mother of 3 young adult sons. She has had the privilege and honor of helping to prepare and serve food for dignitaries and celebrities across the country. On a professional level, she has worked for several major corporations. And so now I will bring to the stage Sister Tara Mohammed, who will speak to us on how to eat to live. Sister Tara, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Kenyatta. And thank all who presented before me. I almost feel like you all must have gotten some of my notes. So we will be repeating some of the things that were already said tonight, but all is good with that. As mentioned, I am Sister Tara Mohammed. I'm from the Nation of Islam. Specifically, I attend Muhammad Mosque number 7C, although my birthing grounds in the Nation of Islam were from the Harlem Mosque, Muhammad Mosque number 7. Before I really get started, I do want to thank Sister LaShawn for just thinking of me to present. I'm used to presenting to the sisters and not so much to the public. So I thank her, but as we got closer to this date, I kept saying to myself, what have I gotten myself into? How did I let her talk me into this? But I'm so glad now, honored and privileged. And so thank you, Sister LaShawn. So before I even read these words, I want to kind of give a base for myself and where my train of thought really comes from. So I have to give honor and praise to Almighty God Allah. I thank him for his coming. I thank him for raising up the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, a Georgia-born Black man. I know there was a sister who put in the chat that she was from Georgia, so I always want to make sure that I say my special greetings for those who were born in the great state of Georgia, because that is the birthplace of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And then, of course, if that were not enough, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as well, for keeping this teaching in the forefront of our mind. So when I read this particular verse in the Holy Quran that reads, and when it is said to them, follow what Allah has revealed, they say, nay, we follow that wherein we found our fathers. What? Even though their fathers had no sense at all, nor did they follow the right way. And so slide 2 is not to be offensive to our parents or our forefathers or our elders. I chose this to remind us that much of what we practice in terms of eating in this country really comes from slavery. And so if you just put that in your mind and then say, okay, well, I know, brother mentioned a number of things in the beginning, Brother Kenyatta, about, soul food in particular. And so our foreparents ate what they ate because that is what was available to them, not necessarily what they wanted. And at some point, if we think about it and look at our health, when I think about my grandmother, although she died a lot younger than I would have wanted her to, when I think about her and how strong she, appeared to me, and she was in the South, and, she raised a lot of her own food. I know that, that she was sustained because of many of the things that Sister Lizette mentioned and Brother Graham mentioned about, fresh air and those things. The food may, and even the fact that she may not have eaten things that I think that we should eat or that are prescribed properly, but what she did eat was a lot fresher than what we eat now. So this is essentially the book I'm coming from, How to Eat to Live. I know that many have probably heard that phrase before, but it is actually a phrase that was coined by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, How to Eat to Live. And I think that even in one of the presenters may have actually uttered those words, because, you know, that's the point. You know, we don't eat to die, we eat to live. I love what brother said, that is my goal to what did you say, Brother Graham? To be, you're going to get older, but
Get
not
older,
necessarily.
but don't get old.
Exactly. Yes. That's my goal. And so to the points that I will cover from this book, and I have it in front of me, it's really not really a big book, very simple in writing, very much how the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad speaks. So I'll just cover 5 points from the book, and those points would be no pork, 1 meal a day, the navy bean, SOS. I'll tell you what that SOS means. And then kitchen is the medicine cabinet. So no pork according to the Bible and the Quran. No pork is not just a Muslim thing. You know, my dad said to me when I asked him why he stopped eating pork and even beef, he said, I didn't want the doctor to tell me to stop. So I wanted to stop before the doctor told me. He said, I didn't want to be a fool and wait until the doctor tells me. And now he's telling me to stop eating pork and giving me a prescription for high blood pressure. So I stopped earlier. And that was it, as simple as that. So in the Bible, in Leviticus 11, 7, 8, and the pig, because it parts the hoof and is cloven-footed, but does not chew the cud, is unclean to you. You shall not eat any of their flesh, and you shall not touch their carcasses. They are unclean to you. And then in the Holy Quran, it reads, O prophet, I do not find in what has been revealed to me anything forbidden to eat except carrion, running blood, swine, which is impure, or a sinful offering in the name of any other than Allah. That's the Holy Quran, chapter 6, verse 146. So both books, and of course, anyone who knows anything about Jewish people, they are very, very strict on not eating pork as well. At least the Orthodox Jews are not. So it is not just a Muslim thing, but of course, Muslims read Bible and Quran. So no pork equals a better life. It's as simple as that. And I often think of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that particular verse in the Bible. The Bible says that he will give us life and life more abundantly. And so if you are living, but your life is that you can't function without this pill and that pill, you have to rethink how you are living. You have to rethink. And so I go back to the first slide that says, that you are following your fathers. And some of us are pretty strong about that. Well, my grandmother lived to be 80 and my grandfather lived to be 90. And the prophets of old are laughing because they lived to be 200, 300, 400, 500 years old. So us saying 80 and 90 is good for this world, but this is really a small period of time. A small period of time if we think about how long our people lived before this time. And one of the quotes from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in How to Eat to Live, he says that there is no way of prolonging the life of the human beings or any other life unless it begins with restrictions of the foods which sustain life. And that kind of bears witness to all the things that Brother Graham said, as well as Sister Lisette. Now, you all shouldn't mind if I step on your toes because I don't weigh a lot. So if I step on your toes, you're not going to get hurt so much. But this needs to be said. Pork products are loaded with artery clogging, cholesterol, and saturated fat. It increases your waistline and your chances of heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, Alzheimer's, asthma, and impotence. He is 99% poisonous. Do you know that a snake can't poison a pig? Now you just, a snake cannot poison a pig. The pig will eat that snake and keep going on with its business. His poison is that of a live nature in the form of a parasitic worm that is called the trichina, commonly known as the pork worm, and he is the greediest of all animals. Now, I spent some summers in the South, and so one of my uncles who I love dearly had a few pigs, and so I've seen them in action. So I know a little bit of what I'm talking about when I talk about him being the greediest of animals. And my uncle, I remember he had a slop bucket that was in his kitchen. And so if a fly got on your food, then he would tell you to throw the whole plate away and put it in the slop bucket. But then he would give the slop bucket to the pig. So, you know, I'm a New Yorker. We have questions. So that was my question. Well, if we should eat the food because the fly touched it, and then you're giving it to the pig and we're eating the pig, aren't we still eating the nasty fly? So, you know, those type of questions sometimes will get you in a little bit of trouble with your elders. But it just made sense to me to ask that question. Okay. Now I know this 1 meal a day. Now, I know for some that sounds like what? 1 meal a day. Eat 1 meal a day or 1 meal every other day. It will prolong your life. On the contrary, you will be treating yourself to life and a life filled with sickless days. So I know that that sounds like a lot. When I came into the Nation of Islam, although I'm, you know, small in frame, I ate. I mean, as a little girl, I ate to the point that my mother wanted to find out if I had a tapeworm because the amount of food I would eat, but I was not gaining any weight. So she thought that was a problem. And it probably was a problem because I probably was just eating food that wasn't nutritious. And that's probably why, you know, I wasn't putting on, you know, any weight. So when I came into the Nation and, you know, I read How to Eat to Live, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said 1 meal a day. I said, okay, well, let me try this. Well, I failed to continue to read that he said that you need to do this slowly. Like you can't do like 5 meals today and then tomorrow decide I'm just going to do 1 meal. So he did give us proper guidance and told us to do this slowly. If you're doing 5 meals a day, because a snack is a meal, anything that gets your digestive system going, you know, means that it's working on your digestive system as a meal. And so I went from 5 to I think 3. This is when I started to be able to master this. I wasn't, when I first did it, I had a headache for, even after I ate, I had a headache because I waited. It just didn't make sense the way that I did it. I should not have done it. I should have done it the way that he said to do it, which was to slowly, you know, begin to lessen your meals, you know, every day until you get to the point where it's only 1 meal. I know that people probably think during the month of Ramadan that the Muslims are crazy, but I promise you, we are not. And we actually look forward to Ramadan. 1 meal when the sun sets. It doesn't mean like when Ramadan is in December, that's a joy for us because the sun is setting about 4:30. Ramadan in July, oh, now you're really talking about some serious discipline. And so it is very doable. And what he said about prolonging your life, I will give you, just share with you my husband's experience. So my husband was a diabetic. And I think maybe in January of this year, his what is it, the A1C level was something like 13. So yes. And so he, you know, decided, you know what, I know better. And I was never easy on him. You know, I'm not that wife that, oh, yes, I love, you know, to make sure that my husband, you know, eats. I like to cook. You know, I like that part of, you know, my life. But I was never easy on him in that, oh, well, you know, he wants a piece of cake. So, you know, I want him to smile. Nope, because that him having being a diabetic means that he won't be smiling for a long time. So I was never easy on him. And so he decided that he was going to try one meal every other day. And when he went back to the doctor in April, his A1C was 6.2. And so when the doctor asked him, like, you know, well, what are you doing? Like, you know, he wasn't taking any of the medication. And he said, you know, I started eating once every other day. And she said, I've never heard of it. She said, however, if it's working for you, then you keep doing it. And it has been working by God's grace and mercy. It has absolutely worked for him, and he's no longer considered a diabetic. So we thank God for that. Okay, and this is just to, and I think it'll kind of sum up what I said about one meal a day. And eating once a day or once every other day, you must not eat in between meals. And you should try to eat at the same hour tomorrow as you eat today. You can absolutely train your body to become hungry around the same time. Do not change your meal hours if you can help it. That causes your stomach to react to various hours of the day for a meal and will set up gas on the stomach. Do not even drink juices, milk, or soft drinks between meals. And I mean, all I can say is that I know it sounds like, of course, it doesn't sound traditional. However, it works. That's all I can say to you is that it works. You have a whole community of your own people who are practicing this and trying really hard, because we know for those of us who've fallen off, because we do fall off, know that it absolutely works. When we get back on, we absolutely see the benefit of it. Okay, so the navy bean. I mean, the navy bean is a super bean, and we eat the small size, not the large size. And then we'll talk about a few facts about the navy bean, which a lot of what especially Brother Graham mentioned, the navy bean is full of many of these minerals that Brother mentioned. And so, of course, I mentioned about, you know, my husband with the diabetes. So one of the things that he did and that we do in my house, we have navy bean soup every single day. So in addition to it lowering cholesterol, the navy beans are high fiber content. It prevents blood sugar levels from rising too rapidly after a meal. So we eat the soup, which soup is, you know, the first course of a meal. We eat the soup, it automatically lowers your blood sugar so that when you do eat, your blood sugar levels does not elevate too quickly, right? So it is an excellent choice for individuals with diabetes, insulin resistant, or hypoglycemia. So I call it the super bean because I'm not a bean fan. Only the Honorable Elijah Muhammad could get me to eat beans. I was that child that would get rice and beans at one of our West Indian restaurants and pick every bean out. I did not like beans. So I always say only the Honorable Elijah Muhammad could get me to like a bean. So next are the minerals found in the navy bean. Magnesium. It lessens resistance and improves the flow of oxygen and nutrients. Potassium, brother mentioned the potassium. And this is so balanced. What this bean, it's balanced like in every way. It is essential for maintaining normal blood pressure and heart function. Thiamine is essential for memory, and the lack of it has been found to be a significant contributing factor in age-related impairment and mental function, senility, and Alzheimer's disease. So who wants, none of us want Alzheimer's. We should all want to be as sharp as we were when we were about 3 or 4, because those 3 and 4-year-olds are pretty sharp. High blood pressure, and I'm mentioning diabetes and high blood pressure mainly because those are things that kind of run pretty rampant in our community. So a 1 cup serving of navy bean provides over 700 milligrams of potassium, making these beans an especially good choice to protect against high blood pressure. And I might need Sister Lisette's help here. Arteriosclerosis, coronary artery.
Atherosclerosis. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're
Coronary
welcome.
artery disease, stroke, and kidney problems. So just think about, incorporating the navy bean in your diet. It is a super bean and we should all run to it. So the next slide, the SOS stands for saving our stomach. One of the things that the Honorable Muhammad taught us is that with all of the technology and all the things that the white man can do, he hasn't figured out yet how to replace our stomach. So the more we take care of it, the better off we'll be. So in that, he says, eat a single meal a day, no matter what anyone says. If your doctor says that you should eat more than 1 meal a day, ignore him with a smile. I do it all the time. And eat only once a day. If he tells you he eats 3 meals a day, tell him that the doctors don't outlive their patients. During COVID, a couple of my doctors died. I had no idea until I was calling to make an appointment. Doctors are not outliving their patients. And then tell the doctor that, he or she should try eating 1 meal a day. I told one of my doctors some years ago, because he always looked very well, always looked healthy, East Indian doctor. And I said to him, you look great. I said, when you start not looking great, you can't be my doctor, because then I'll know you're not even practicing what you're trying to tell me. So that would be the end of our relationship. And he thought that was so funny, and I was dead serious. I don't go to sick people, can't treat me. So, and I think this speaks to what the other presenters were saying about, just having knowledge. And when brother was talking about, whole foods and the type of foods that we choose and where we go to shop for food. This is from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. The scripture says, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. We eat unhealthy food because we don't know what we're eating and the effect of what we're eating on the systems of our body, in particularly on our brain. So the only way to change that is to introduce new knowledge, correct knowledge. And when you have the correct knowledge, then you correct your behavior according to that knowledge. And that's from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, a lecture called Why We Must Produce Food and Control Our Food Sources. So that's the SOS, saving our stomach. I am big on this. The sisters that are on this Zoom call know that I am big on this. I am that one. I read labels. When the ingredients are too much, I just put it down. I don't even need to know, because I know I would say one of my vices, and when it comes down to food, is probably might be my only vice, and that is ice cream. Like, I love ice cream. I like it wouldn't. No one would be surprised who knows me if I sat on this Zoom call and just ate a pint of ice cream. So, but I'm being respectful as a presenter, so I won't do that. But ice cream, you can make ice cream with about 4 to 5 ingredients. So when you look at ice cream and it has 11 ingredients, that means put it down. There's something in there that is absolutely no good for you. So I started making my own ice cream. As a matter of fact, I make navy bean ice cream because I want to get, so in the summertime, when it's too hot and I still know that I need to get the navy bean inside of me, then I make navy bean ice cream so that I'm getting my navy bean and then enjoying the ice cream as well. So here are let me just read this really quick. Many of us purchase food items with little knowledge of what is in the food and what impact its components have on the body. But consider this: when choosing clothes to wear, most of us take very special care to ensure that they fit well and are the right size, not too big, not too small. We are careful that our clothes match and are nicely coordinated, are the right color and complement our figure, etc. Should we not take even greater care with what we put in our body than what we put on our bodies? Knowing what is in the food we eat can help do just that, and understanding how to read nutrition facts is key. And so, yes, we take a lot more time about what on the outside. But if we don't take care of the inside, the outside will show. The outside will absolutely show just that we are not taking care of the inside. So cook for self. One of the what's the word? Do for self. One of the what's the word I'm looking for? One of the phrases that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad coined for us in terms of us taking care of ourselves and having our own businesses and all of that. And so the same here with cooking for self. We have to cook for ourselves. And so I was very, pleased, honestly, when so many of the restaurants closed down during COVID. I was like, oh, well, this is going to get Black women back in the kitchen where we belong, taking care of our families. So do you know how and what to eat to live? Are you making the best food choices for the health and benefit of your family? The health of our families is in the palm of our hands or at the tip of our knives. Mothers have been given the awesome responsibility of cooking for our families. We are taught that the kitchen is our medicine cabinet, and any ailment our families may encounter, we have the ability to remedy it by feeding them the proper food. This is exactly what the presenters before presented to us as well. Sister Lisette with what she the actual recipes that she shared with us as well. I remember when my youngest son, my middle son, had a fever once, and I think he was like 2, and for some reason he was eliminated from my husband's insurance plan. So the doctor gave him a prescription, and when we tried to get the prescription filled, it was $250. I was like, oh, well, I have a prescription and it's not going to cost $250. So I came home, cayenne pepper, onions, garlic, honey, and that's exactly what I gave him. Mixed it up, gave it to him, and that was the end of that. And I'm sure that he is benefited. He benefited more from that than whatever the prescription was that the doctor gave. So we have the ability. I know I didn't want my children to be in the emergency rooms all the time. And so, that's an awesome responsibility as a mother to say that, I am the reason why my children are as healthy as they are. We should take great pride in that. And that is just to thank you all for your attention. May God bless and keep you healthy. Thank you so much.